This is Square Pizza, cooked up by Shermco. So this is a podcast about making the good things about school even better. So on today's Square Pizza podcast, we interviewed Dr. Steve Perry, and we'll link his bio and information in the show notes. But if you don't know him, another national figure in ed reform and education, runs a number of charter schools and has helped others open charter schools in a number of areas across the country. But this episode quickly went a little bit off the rails, I think in a good way. We began to discuss and really focus on politics. And so you'll hear us talk about everything from why he's not supporting Warren and Bernie, why he's leaning towards Bloomberg, why as a black man he decided to endorse Betsy DeVos, and why he's working on a school improvement plan all weekend for the schools he's working at. So this was a really fun interview to get a sense of how nuanced Dr. Perry's thinking is, how hard he is working to support his schools, but his national focus on politics and how that affects the kids and communities moving forward with so many upcoming elections and policy decisions to make. So we hope you guys enjoy this. Thanks. So ladies and gentlemen, really excited to introduce you to Dr. Steve Perry. Dr. Perry, how are you doing today, sir?
Having time of my life, brother. You?
I'm also well. Thank you. Appreciate that positivity on a Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock. That means you're living well. Just want to start off with something fun. You have any good weekend plans that the people should know about?
I am going to write a school improvement plan. How about that?
Is that right? Good.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Good for you. Well, I know the kids and the communities will be well served after that plan. So we really appreciate you taking time. And like we said, we wanted to just kind of start off with something fun. But, doing our research on you, it appears to be you're Twitter famous. Is that true? Is that how you feel?
I'm Twitter famous. I think if I put makeup on or show people how to put makeup on, I could become Twitter famous. Or if
YouTube famous.
Cool dance moves, Twitter. No, I all that I could become Twitter famous. Or if I were the sire of a famous child, a famous person, I might become Twitter famous. But I'm just a regular cat with a couple thousand followers who attempt to speak truth to power.
No, I mean, you appreciate it's a good follow and not just a good superficial follow. But I appreciate you speaking your mind. I appreciate you, I think, being nuanced, even just following your Twitter threads. Like, you at least appreciate when people push back or have nuanced arguments, and you do that as well. So I think obviously nowadays it can be.
That's a hard thing. That's a hard thing to do. But I'll be honest with you.
Sure.
That's what people typically want. If they want, as a black person, what they want is me to come squarely down the line of Democrats, because black and Democrats apparently are one and the same in a lot of people's minds. Similarly, because of my pedigree of coming up in poverty, I should have certain compulsions, according to some, that would lead me to support someone like Bernie Sanders, which I completely don't, or Elizabeth Warren, which I completely don't. And to pass aside cats like George Bush or Jeb Bush, which I completely don't. I look for the consistency in an argument. So when someone tells me that they're pro-choice, meaning they want a woman to have the right to do what she wishes with her body,
sure,
then I would imagine they also want that woman to have the right to do with her child what she so chooses. So they would allow for this person to select whether or not to have a child, but they don't want to give that same person the opportunity to choose where that child goes to school. Similarly, I support gender equality, and I support people not being judged by their gender. But I think it's goofy to then say that you are going to elect a person because they're a woman. I think that there's something inherently hypocritical about that. So my job is to call it hypocrite. I think it's strange for somebody to say that they're pro-public school when they send their child to a private school. So I do all I can to flash light on the hypocrisy of, let's say, the world of Twitter, but also to draw attention to what I believe to be our salient issues. We have got to find ways to make sure that our children perform better in school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just leaving a staff meeting from one of our schools, and I'm on 11 because there are things that we're discussing here on February 26th that I don't even understand why we're discussing them. This is one of my own schools.
Yeah. Can you shed light if you're able about what maybe some of those things are that have you fired up right now at the school level?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I don't know why I have teachers in our schools talking about they don't know what to do when a child comes to class late.
Mm.
What do you mean you don't know? It's February.
So the tardy system should be down by now. We should know what the tardy systems are in the school.
We should know what to do. And you want to get kids to class on time? Teach your ass off.
Yep.
How about that? How about getting there and lighting on fire? How about making your class so damn cool and so damn compelling that when kids know that they have your class, they're barreling down the hall to get there in time to get a seat? Because we have classes like that in the
Sure.
school. We have somebody who tells an SAT prep class. The kids actually will leave another person's class early to make sure they can get a seat.
Was that some of the feedback you gave them today?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
How was it received?
Well,
And the reason I'm asking, because I love this, because I think it's so nuanced, right? Because like we can write school improvement plans, which will be good, but the implementation of those things, and then like when the human interaction comes down to it, like these like day-to-day conversations are really important for hopefully our listeners and even everybody with the experience to understand like how to navigate these situations.
Well, and that's why I struggle when I see people having conversations. Like I look at someone like an AOC.
Mm-hmm.
And on so many levels, I just watch her and shake my head because I think you're so Bronx, right? Like you're so Bronx, right? You didn't grow up in the Bronx. Your mother did. Your father did.
Right.
Your grandparents did, but you did.
And
you grew up in the suburbs.
And so specifically with her education platform or all of her platforms?
That's where it starts there.
Okay.
But because they wanted you to have a better education.
They had choice.
And then you turn around and say, I support public education. Yeah, but you left that zip code to go to a private college where you would come back and have a choice as to what you do with your life.
Right.
You came back comfortably middle class. It's a whole different ride to go and live in the Bronx now when you have a degree from a private college.
Looks much different. Yep.
It's real easy to have these conversations when there's no skin in the game. No skin at all. So.
And while we're there, can you speak to like the disagreements with, or maybe just how you'd improve the platform of Bernie or Warren? I think I know, because I may have the same feelings, may not, but would love to hear specifically from you.
You cannot, because the purpose of this platform is to upend anything that they think is different. So I look at someone like Elizabeth Warren,
mm-hmm.
who lied and said she was Native American until last year. Like till last year. Not like for a little while, whatever.
She let it ride for a while. How long did she let that ride?
Last year.
And when did she first say? This is a genuine question. I actually don't know. Like, when did she first say that?
No, I'm telling you, for as long as she was claiming.
Really?
I don't know.
Okay.
From her entire professional life.
Wow. Okay.
To when she applied for the bar, and she counted herself a Native American. Come on, man.
Yeah.
But I look at these folks who want to have the duplicity of being both privileged and white, and underprivileged and female, and underprivileged and female and Native American. But yet they live a white life. They live a very white life. Bernie's so about diversity, but this cat moves to Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
Word? So that's your answer? You first need to go to move to Vermont. All right, that makes sense to no one. The hypocrisy.
Are we saying I've never been to Vermont? Are we saying Vermont's not as diverse as what Bernie might say?
Vermont is white.
from someone from Ohio and North Carolina. I haven't made it to Vermont, but I believe you. Yeah, I have no reason not to believe you.
many people of color there
Uh-huh.
at all. There's some new populations of people from different parts of Africa,
Sure.
but even they were.
Lack of diversity in Vermont was there.
Yeah, so, I mean, the lack of diversity is an understatement. Vermont is about as white a state as there is. I mean, only places like Idaho and Utah are whiter. That doesn't make them bad, but it definitely doesn't make the case for somebody who says they support diversity.
Sure.
Coming from a place like Brooklyn, you want to stay in Brooklyn.
Yeah, no, I think that's an incredible point that not a lot of people are either calling out or at least nominate or like I think lifting up. But we'd love to transition kind of what you said too about.
What has Bernie Sanders done, and what has Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Steyer, any of these cats, Biden, what have they all done for Black people? What have they done for Latino people? Show me.
Mm-hmm.
Show me the legislation that has their name on it that they somehow made better. Show me, just please, show me. Show me.
Yeah, no, I think it's 100% right. And have you always been this politically focused? Has it been through the work, or has it been growing up, or where did this interest in politics or policy come from? Yeah.
I actually thought I was going to be a politician when I grew up.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons why I have a hard stop.
It's not too late. It's not too late. We have elections coming up.
It's not for me. It's not my thing, man. I want to work with kids. I don't even like adults that much. Like, if there were a way to run schools just kids, I would do that. I swear to you, I would.
I don't want to cut you off, man, but one of my favorite coaches and teachers, he was just the best. Shout out to Matt LaPointe. And he was, I think I was going to high school and then college. I was like, and he was just teaching, but killing the game and teaching. And at that point in high school, I was like, if you're an assistant principal, soup, like you'll make more money, you'll be fine. I was like, why? Like, you're a super smart dude. You're crushing it. Like, why don't you do it? He goes, I just never want to talk to adults ever again. And I thought he was joking. And like, as an adult, like I'm starting and like working with kids, like some days I get it. So like, I feel you, man. I understand that.
I'm telling you right now, I don't want to spend my days immersed in adult BS. That is, oh my God. You want me to be in hell? Drop me off there.
That's real. I appreciate the honesty. So with the policy piece, because I think you brought up interesting about how unfortunately some people might just assume if one is African American or Black, then they have to be a Democrat and they have to believe in certain things unilaterally. But we know, I guess, within this administration, you endorse Betsy DeVos, which I think some people might think as a hot take, but you obviously have a very nuanced and methodical approach to that endorsement. Can you speak to what made you endorse her and how you think she's doing?
Well, she supports school choice, and people forget that Betsy DeVos doesn't have to do any of this stuff. She's stupid rich.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for real. Like, F-U money rich.
Right.
She ain't got to do nothing. So that she does it is an indication of her commitment from where I sit. That's number one. Number two, I think one of her problems is that she allows herself to get on television. That's something she should not do.
You're referring to the growth and achievement conversation she got in trouble? Either she kind of fumbled a few times?
I am referring to every single time she's on television.
All right.
Betsy DeVos should never, ever, 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 if I could just say ever, be on television talking about any topic ever. She's awful. Awful. And so I agree with her politics as it relates to school choice. But I know that she's god awful, and because of that, and she, one of the things that she does that a lot of people do is she apologizes for being white and wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she didn't make herself white any more than I made herself Black.
True. So
I'm not going to apologize for that. She shouldn't apologize either.
Yep.
But the intersection of white and wealthy allows people like Elizabeth Warren, who, by the way, is white and wealthy,
mm-hmm.
to tee off on people like Bloomberg
mm-hmm.
and call him arrogant. Imagine if he turned around and said, arrogant? Look at you.
Sure.
You got to lie about my race. Right? Because that would have been me. You better say some foolishness like that to me. This woman allegedly works at Harvard. We ain't talking about a regular local public school. We're talking Harvard University.
Mm-hmm.
The elite of the elite. And she's claiming to have street cred. Come on, man. Wow.
And so is Bloomberg your guy?
Yes.
Why?
Because I believe that he has the nuance. You mentioned nuance. The nuances that are necessary to create the kind of government that meets the needs of more than one side of the population. I'm very concerned about where we're going. The polarization of politics is real.
Sure.
I was this morning. I was in Waco, Texas. I'm right now in Hartford, Connecticut.
Oh wow!
And
safe travels. Good.
I was at Baylor University.
Yep.
And I spoke with some kids there. And when I go to a new community, I watch the local news. And obviously the political ads are rampant right now.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, what I see is one side is hell-bent on their guns and taking women's rights away from them. And the other side is hell-bent on socializing everything that we know. I happen to believe that most of America lives somewhere in the middle.
Yep.
I think everybody believes in Social Security, right? We all
Sure.
get that.
Yep. We all pay for it.
I
At least I don't know if we're all going to get it, but we all pay for it.
Well, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do. But I don't think that people want to live in a socialist society. I think people believe that there should be some form of health care that is available to all people, but I think most people would believe that that should be driven by income level, and still that there should be a choice. It should not be imposed upon you. So we believe that we should take care of the indigent and disconnected and disenfranchised, but we should not be paying for health care for middle class, largely white people. Similarly, I think that most people believe that you should create financial aid packages that make it possible for people to go to college. But I don't think that any of us believe that we should be paying for middle and upper middle class, white, black, Latino, and other people to go to college. And on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bloomberg is someone who is there, who gets that. Do I like to stop and frisk? Hell no. But
right.
Bernie Sanders voted for the crime bill that sent a whole bunch of black people to prison. Lest we forget that.
Right.
Hillary Clinton called largely black and Latino young men, she called them super predators. Oh, we didn't forget, but we forgot that.
Right.
We overlooked the fact that Bill Clinton, William Jefferson Clinton, sent more black and Latino people to prison than any president in modern history. Period. Period. Now, I'm not using that as an indication of why one should support. I'm saying that if all we're going to do is look at stop and frisk, which I think is disgusting, I think it's reprehensible, as someone who has been stopped and frisked, not in New York, but in another community, it ain't cool. It's not a good way to live. And as somebody with two black sons and thousands of 1,000 black and Latino kids under my care, that's not something I support. But do I think that and that alone disqualifies me? Hell no. I find it really interesting to watch these people, again, blaming the hypocrites they are, who want to create a second chance society, want to make it possible for felons to come back into the fold and be able to vote, and be able to get jobs in the government, and to be able to get government housing, which I support, but are not a second chance society when the person is wealthy and white and has had a bad policy.
I mean, I think it just goes back to the nuance point, that I appreciate from you and other leaders, right? As you as a black male, given the space you've worked in and just lived in, acknowledging the stop and frisk and your own experiences, the Bloomberg policy that more people become familiar with when he was mayor of Charlotte, mayor of New York, of course, not Charlotte yet, I don't think. But then some of his charter school work and his belief in school choice, and I think some people may be able to debate the outcomes of that, but believes deeply in school choice.
No, New York City has the best school system in our country.
The best?
This is the best. You can look at some of the highest performing schools in the state of New York are black, Latino, and charter.
And you credit that to Bloomberg, or like Bloomberg having a say in that?
Hell yeah. That was him. That was all him.
Wow, okay.
That was him and Joe Klein.
Yep.
They're the reason why I'm in New York.
Wow, okay. That's great. We know from afar, but knowing how influential a mayor can be, not only to claim the results, but actually do it and drive it, and knowing Joe Klein and his incredible leadership too. That's good insight from you to provide from your experience. And I think even from our perspective, which was, one, he believes in school choice, which is important, but he knows, at least appears to know, the ins and outs of what charters are and what they are not. And at least from the one question that was asked in the most recent debate, I think 4 out of the 9 or so candidates that were on stage called them private schools or called them non-public schools, which I think just the education of what these things are for the candidates running for this elected official need to understand the details of those sorts of policies.
Well, it is very easy to be a white upper middle class person or a Latino upper middle class person or a black upper middle class person and say that you want kids to go to the neighborhood public school.
Mm-hmm.
Because A, you likely won't have to be one of them.
True.
B, if you did, your neighborhood public school would be better than the ones that the poorest among us have. And C, even if you do go to those schools, you can end up in a gifted and talented program or a magnet program or some other program that will allow you to not really have to suffer through the failures of the school. But for those people at the bottom, really ain't a choice. I find it odd and again hypocritical that people like Bernie Sanders, AOC, Elizabeth Warren, et al. Can see the need to provide choice when it comes to Medicare, medical insurance.
Sure. Yep.
Health insurance. But do not see the value in choice when it comes to education. And there's a simple reason why. It's because they believe more in union than they do in the community. They believe and support wholeheartedly union over all other institutions, including the people.
And it's crazy, right? Because to your point, it doesn't, from one, it doesn't appear to align with maybe other policies or other thoughts. And then, like in my head, it's like, do they actually believe that? Do they just think it's going to get them elected, and so they're not, being honest with us? Like what? It confounds me. It seems like it confounds you. It doesn't make any sense from if they actually care about what's best for kids and families.
They're pretty clear. They're pretty clear. It's all unions all day, everywhere.
Right.
For them. That's it. And of course it is because they don't own a small business, so they don't know what it's like when somebody comes in and says, "These are the hours that I'm working,
yep.
and I'm not going to work these hours." They don't know what it's like to start a school from scratch.
Yep.
When you ask me what I'm doing this weekend, and I'm working. I'm working all week.
Mm-hmm.
I will work all week, and my colleagues will work all weekend because that's what it's going to take for us to do the work we need to do. But it's easy for them to think that because for them, it's an academic exercise, not a reality, not something that they're really, really, really having to deal with. Their kids won't go to these schools. They won't run the organizations that will be impacted by these unions. And so for them, it's the benefit far outweighs the drawback because they're going to get money from these organizations. They talk about how they don't take money from billionaires, but they take money from unions.
Sure. Yeah. What's the difference?
Which is worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right.
How is that not the same thing?
Yep. Dr. Perry, we're all, Dan, we could talk to you for maybe 4 hours on any day of the week, but we want to get you out of here with a few maybe quick questions and respect your time because we know you're busy and got some work to do this weekend. So if we kind of wanted to tell our listening audience one actionable thing they can do in their positions to affect educational choice and educational quality, what advice would you give to our listening audience?
Vote only for candidates who support school choice, regardless of the party.
That's great. And timely in North Carolina with a big voting day coming up on Tuesday, and I guess many other states across the country as well. Super timely. Another question, 60 seconds. So celebrities opening schools, Diddy, LeBron, Ernest, especially in the NBA, Jalen Rose. Hot take? You like that or no?
Yeah, I don't. Partnering with at least one of those people and being friends with at least two, they're not quote unquote running the school.
Sure.
We often get on celebrities' back for not doing enough. We often get at them for not spending enough time in the hood and helping people out.
Yep.
Then they do it. And then we tell them that they shouldn't do it because they can't win.
Yep.
And do you want them to help or not? Because Andre Agassi has a fantastic club in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's right.
Pitbull has schools down in Florida.
And then Agassi runs that, like the management foundation, right, or the facility foundation that helps a lot of charters with the facilities.
Yeah. They build a lot of schools.
Yep.
Agassi builds a lot of schools.
That's right.
So let me be crystal clear. Sure. I want anyone who is committed to children, regardless of the place from which they come. Now, of course, there's going to be someone who says, you want axe murderers in this?
Right.
Regardless of where they come, within reason.
Yep.
To be part of the solution. Because as somebody who runs schools in urban communities, I find myself working with felons and friars. I find myself working with pastors and people currently in the penitentiary. I have to work with whoever it is. I don't get to choose my children.
Yep.
I don't get to choose their parents. I don't get to choose who comes up to school when they want to talk or argue about whatever it is that's on their mind.
You mean charter schools have to take all kids? No, I know.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Amen.
As we speak right now, one of my parents is calling from one of our schools.
Good.
So, yes, we do have to take kids from all places.
That's right.
And therefore, we have to take anybody who wants to work with us.
That's right.
That's where I'm coming from.
That's right.
So, all right, party people. I thank you so much for your time. I gotta feel out.
Thank you, Dr. Perry. Where you want to let people know where they can find you?
They can find me at one of my schools or at Dr. Steve Perry on Twitter.
Hey, we appreciate you, Dr. Perry. Talk soon.
All right, peace.
Thank you, sir. Hey, guys, this is Greg. Thanks again for checking out the podcast episode. Feel free to show us some love on social media. So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, at Shermco, SCHERMCO, and hashtag Square Pizza Pod. Would love to see your reviews and connect with you there. Stay in touch for the next episode.